Hey guys, so I wanted to make this video to kind of showcase the player model and player controller that I kind of slapped together for use in my survival game I'm making. Okay, so what I did here is make this 3D character, and I just made the full body with the head and everything. That way, if I ever decide to make it so you can switch between first person and third person, I already have a third person model to use. So then, since I wanted it to be first person at first, I split the lower body with the upper body and just removed the head. And for animation, I did a lower body rig and an upper body rig. In this way, I could have separate animations for the upper body and the lower body. Later in Godot, this will let me have two separate animation players, one for the upper body and one for the lower body. It'll just make setting up the animation trees a lot easier. And then if you want to make attack animations with your weapons, you can just add your weapon to your scene. Then we can just select the bone we want to connect the weapon to. Select the weapon, select the armature, Control P, and click bone. And now, if we go into pose mode, the weapon is attached to my arm. So that means if I go to my right hand item attack animation, it will use the weapon. If you do this, just don't select the weapon when you go to export everything, because you'll probably want to have the weapon separate. So now, hopping into Godot, we'll take a look at our player scene. Now, I just want to say I haven't really been naming things for a tutorial or anything like that, so this player scene is just called Human 4, and you can see here all my previous iterations. I haven't cleaned up my resource file system while I've been working on this, so it's kind of messy, so just bear with me. Going into the node tree, you can see we have a character body 3D with its collision shape, which is just a capsule shape at the moment. I have a node 3D with the lower body skeleton as a child, and then I separately have a upper body rig node 3D that is separate from the character body, because I don't want the upper body to inherit the rotation of the character body, so I have it separate from the character body, and it's going to match the rotation of the camera base. The reason I don't have the upper body rig just as a child of the camera base is because I'm doing a bunch of things in the player controller script where it just made it easier if they were not children of each other. And under the camera base node, I have another camera pitch node, which gives us the pitch of the camera, obviously. And then also as children of the camera pitch node, I have an interact ray for player interaction, and then an attack ray, which I think I made a little bit shorter than the interact ray, to detect when the player is attacking something or someone. You might be wondering why I didn't just use one ray. You can. Again, it was just a little bit easier for my brain to understand having two separate rays, just trying to make the systems work in a way that I can come back to any time and see what is doing what. So next you can see that I have a lower body animation tree and an upper body animation tree, each with their own animation player. And this is because if I had one animation player, I would not be able to drive the lower body animation tree and the upper body one at the same time. I did try to just have one animation tree, but it made it way more complicated than just having two separate animation trees for two separate parts of the body that will often be doing two separate things at the same time. But to go into the lower body animation tree, I have three separate states. I have standing, crouching, and midair, which is the jump animation. I'll go into the standing blend tree. We just have our move blend space for the player speed and a time scale node so that if I wanted to, I could adjust the speed. For crouching, same thing. Midair, yep, same thing. Let's go into the upper body animation tree. I think this one was a little bit more complicated because you can see the upper body is up in the air while the lower body is crouching. That is because in the script I have the upper body's position following a camera bone in the upper body skeleton. And then I have a state for when the player has an item in their right hand, which just has them holding it in their right hand. And then midair, ooh, we're jumping in the air. Pretty cool. So in the player controller script, when the player crouches, that will make the upper body go down a little bit. I don't really remember right now how I did it, but the reason I'm not even going to bother explaining that is because this is my player controller script at the moment. It is very messy. I did not prepare it for any videos. A lot of these things don't have to be happening in my player controller script, but this is again one of those things where I was just trying to make a bunch of things that worked in relation to player control, and I am fine with that at the moment. I will clean this up when I need to or want to. We'll see.